Welcome back to the Takeout. California Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna is beginning what he is calling the new Economic Patriotism Tour, doing so tonight in Bucks County, Pennsylvania, which is suburban Philadelphia, in part marking America's 250th anniversary. And the congressman joins us now. Congressman, always good to see you. Distill for my audience what economic patriotism means to you.
It means we cannot have a country where you have $20 trillion in my Silicon Valley district in the hands of a few, while the vast majority of Americans are struggling and have not achieved the American dream. Economic patriotism is a call for a Marshall Plan for America, an economic plan for the success of communities that were hollowed out with deindustrialization, that were hollowed out because of the decline of unions. It calls for an industrial investment bank, for 1,000 new trade schools, for new tech institutes everywhere, for venture capital to be distributed, and for a strong care economy.
So when you talk about those multitudes of trillionaires in your district, that means taking wealth from them. How?
It means taxing them. I mean, we would raise $4 trillion, $4 trillion, if we had a 5% tax on 900 billionaires in this country. We're not talking about the 1%. We're not talking about the 0.1%. We're not talking about the 0.01%. We're talking about the 0.001%. Tax them at 5% on their net worth, and you could fund a economic renaissance in this country. You could have free childcare. You could have free public college. You could have this industrial investment bank I talked about. You could build more housing. You could have a home program for people under 35. If you work hard 7 years, we'll give you zero down payment and low interest loans, the same thing we give our veterans. But I'm back in Bucks County because the place I grew up, where there was so much economic shared success, has seen stagnation. You saw Fearless Works when I was growing up be bankrupt. There was the steel plant in Lower Bucks. And it's just not right that the kids I grew up with, families I grew up with, don't feel like their kids, their grandkids are going to have economic independence, and yet all this wealth in Silicon Valley. And I want to return to say, here's how we build wealth for all Americans across this country.
Congressman, politics is the art of contrast. So what is the contrast you see with your agenda and the Trump tariff agenda and the Trump tax agenda?
So let me give the Trump voters some credit. They were right that places in Pennsylvania and Michigan and Ohio got screwed and shafted. We should have never watched Johnstown be hollowed out. We should have never watched Fearless Works in my hometown of Bucks County shut down, and the steel leave, the auto industry leave, the aluminum leave. And we abandoned a lot of these communities. And Trump came in and he said he was going to bring back these manufacturing jobs. Well, we're going up to Erie, Pennsylvania, where he promised manufacturing jobs coming back, but those manufacturing jobs have actually declined, and they've been declined across the country. Why is that? Because he has just had blanket tariffs. Those tariffs, by the way, have also been on intermediate tools and machines that we actually need for reindustrialization in this country. And he has not invested in trade schools. He has not invested in an industrial bank, which would actually fund small and medium-sized manufacturers. He has not actually invested in community projects in this country. So from Hamilton to Lincoln to FDR, you need government investment and industrial policy to build new jobs. And so what I would say is he's gotten the diagnosis correct, but the solutions are all wrong.
What about no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security? You keep that?
Yes, keep no tax on tips, keep no tax on overtime, but and keep no tax on Social Security. But let's go much further. Let's actually pay people a living wage and move a living wage by 2032 to $25 an hour. Let's actually support unions so workers can bargain and actually get ownership, some piece of ownership in an economy. You know, most of the wealth generation, Major, you know this, has been because of the 20,000% increase in the stock market. We need workers to actually have ownership. And let's expand Social Security. It's not enough for our seniors. And you can do that by scrapping the cap and taxing people over $400,000 on Social Security.
Let me shift your focus, Congressman. What happened to you in the West Bank? What does it represent about the Israeli government? And do you honestly believe U.S. officials should arrest Benjamin Netanyahu in this country?
Let me just be very factual about what happened to us, because there's some misinformation. I've been to Israel 3 times, Major. I've met with Prime Minister Bennett. I met with Prime Minister Netanyahu. And I had been there with Speaker Pelosi, with the Armed Services Committee. I wanted to go on a Palestinian-led tour to see the West Bank from the eyes of those Palestinians who have been occupied. And I informed the Israeli embassy, I informed the American embassy while we were at Zanuda Village, a village, by the way, where other members of Congress have actually been just months ago. We saw extreme settlers. They blocked our van. They didn't let us exit. They brandished M4 weapons, made in America M4 weapons. And about 30 minutes this went on. They were videotaping us, laughing at us. Then the IDF comes and they take the side of the settlers, saying we have to stay there. We finally call a very senior person of the American embassy who was very helpful, called the Israeli police, and we left without incident. But this should not be happening, not just to an American delegation. It should not be happening to Palestinians. And it was a brutal look at the settler violence that Palestinians face every day. I believe in an end to the occupation. I believe the American government should recognize a Palestinian state, put an embassy, consular services in Ramallah or East Jerusalem. Many other countries, France, Spain, UK, have done that. Now, my view on Netanyahu is the same as my view on Putin. If you have a warrant for your arrest by the ICC and you're coming here, not to the UN, because the UN has its own rules, but you're coming to the United States, then you should be arrested. We should not allow people in our jurisdiction who have an arrest warrant by the ICC. People say, what about Americans? They don't have any American arrest warrants. I mean, this is not talking about Americans who are subject to our own law. But that seems to me a consistent principle of international law, and I'd apply it to Putin like I'd apply it to Netanyahu.
Before I let you go, when are you going to announce your bid for the presidency in 2028?
Well, Major, maybe if I were to do it, I'd do it on your show. Let's see. But here's what I do know. I understand the future of this economy. I've seen it in Silicon Valley, and I know it's only working for very few tech billionaires, and that's not the America I grew up in. I want it to work for the kids and families who I grew up with, and to work for every American. And whether I run or whether I offer an economic platform for how we create success for every American in a future economy, I'm increasingly convinced I have something to offer this country in terms of our future.
Let it be recorded, ladies and gentlemen, that Ro Khanna was an early adopter of the Takeout. Let's just put that on the record. Congressman, always a pleasure to see you. Thank you.